Okay, let's start. Good morning, everyone. My name is Abhishek, and I'm the founder and CEO of Quest for Success. First of all, thank you everyone for joining in on the session. I'll just give you a brief about myself and my institute. So, I started Quest for Success back in 2013. This is our 13th year of operations, and we primarily help students who want to pursue their undergraduate studies abroad. So we are based out of Bangalore, and all our classes and offerings are online. We do not have physical classes even for our local Bangalore students. So we help students prepare for A, SATs, B, advanced placement exams, C, TMUA, UCAT, D, we do IB and IGCSE tutoring, for grade 9 to grade 12 students. And E, finally, we help students with the entire college admission counseling, where we help students build their CV, help them with their college selections, help them with the essays and the application process. So we help with the tutoring part for the test prep, which is the SATs, APs, TMUA, UCAT. We do regular tutoring for IB, IGCSE for grade 9 to grade 12 students. And we help with the college guidance process in terms of guiding their building their CV, helping them with their college selections and essays and application. So 40% of our students are in fact outside India. So we have students from UAE, US also, and 60% students that we cater to are from India. So as I told, everything is online. So it does not matter whether we are in Bangalore or Delhi or Bombay. In fact, 90% of our student base is outside Bangalore today. So this is the agenda for the session today. We'll talk about the SATs, benefits of taking the APs, the relevance of TMUA exam, how do you build your, profile. We will even share some case studies with you of our current year admits and last year admits who have gone on to top 20 universities to show how their CV looked like. We have a couple of guest speakers as well of this year admits who have made it to top colleges like Berkeley, USC in US. So they'll share their story, how they build their CV. So this is the agenda for the session today. We'll keep it short. I think we'll keep it for an hour, and I'll cover most of these points. I'll give you a chance to even, ask questions after every module. Say I cover SAT, and then you can ask me anything on SAT, and then, AP, TMU, and the profile part. So let's make it an interactive session, not a one-way session. So yeah, let's get started with it. So I've already given you a brief introduction about ourselves. We started back in 2013, and, we help high school students who want to pursue their undergraduate studies abroad. Now, what exactly goes on in your college application? See, there are three aspects to your college applications. First and foremost are your academic grades. Now, remember, your not just your 11th and 12th grades that are going to be decisive in your college application, but starting from grade 9, everything will go as part of your college applications. So your 9th final results, 10th final results, your grade 12 predicted scores, which typically depends on your 11th performance and 12th midterms or 12th first term, is how the school is going to predict your grade 12 scores. So that goes in your college applications. So 9th finals, 10th finals, and 12th grade predicted scores all together, will go as part of your college application. And I feel 60% weightage is given to your academic grades when we are applying to university. Close to 60% weightage is on your academic grades. The next component is the standardized test scores, which is your SATs, ACT, whatever you take, and the advanced placement exams. So that carries around 20% weightage. And then finally, 20-25% weightage is on your profile, which is your extracurriculars, your co-curriculars, the essay that you write, your LORs that the school will give you. All together, I would say is around 25%. So you can say 60, 20, 20, or, that kind of a ratio is the weightage as part of your application. So if you would see closely, 80% actually depends on your academics, which is your grades as well as your standardized test scores. So students planning for tier 1 colleges, remember, profile does not compensate for your grades. Profile is a add-on to the grades. I would say it is to differentiate between two strong academic students, right? So okay, there could be someone who has just grades. He may have just 95%, has a SAT score, but there's no CV. But then there's someone who has 90%, good SAT score, and he has done 5 other things as well. So of course, university value the second child over the first one because they want to see a little more diversification apart from the acads. But having said that, it doesn't mean you just have 70% and you build your CV and you still target, tier one colleges. That won't happen. You still need to, maintain the requirements, academic requirements that they have. And only I feel once you meet the academic requirements, they in fact go on to check your application on what else do you have to offer. So it's a myth that you through profile you can crack a tier one college. Of course you need a good CV, but that is a add-on to the academic grades and the standardized test scores that you have. Now let's talk about the first exam, which is the SATs. Most of you would know about this. We'll keep it very brief and quick. So SAT stands for Scholastic Assessment Test, conducted by College Board. The exam happens 8 times a year. So the months are fixed. It's March, May, June, and then August, September, October, November, December. August to December, every month SAT happens. And other than that, it's March, May, and June. It has 2 components. One is math, one is English. The content of the exam is everything what you have studied until grade 10 at school level. So nothing beyond grade 10 is asked on the SAT exam, whether it's the math part or the English part. What makes it a little difficult? Why is it that universities like Harvard and Stanford rely on your SAT scores? Because the idea behind conducting this exam is to test your logical thinking skills, your critical thinking skills, and your analytical skills, right? It's not to test your mathematical ability or English ability, I would say. So idea is, how do you think? What are your critical thinking skills, logical skills? So this is what is tested through the SAT exam, right? A very fast paced exam, I would say. On an average, you just get 1 minute per question to answer. So you have to maintain speed, you have to maintain accuracy. So you have to think, quicker. So typically it takes around 4 to 5 months to prepare for the SAT exams. And ideally, I would say students prepare for SATs right after the 10th grade board exam gets over. So 90% of our students who actually prepare for SAT right after 10th, and they take the SAT in the beginning of 11th. So there are exceptions where they even come in grade 12, or someone even finishes the SAT in grade 10. You can finish the SAT anytime from grade 9 onwards because the scores are valid for 5 years. But the reason most kids prefer after 10th boards is because the content of the exam is everything what you've studied until 10th. So they would have covered that as part of the school syllabus, and they want to fine tune their preparation according to the way SAT requires you to. So that is why students pick after 10th to prepare and sit for the exam in the beginning of 11th. Now, since the exams are conducted multiple times a year, you have an option of even taking this exam multiple times. As such, there is no restriction on the number of attempts that you can take for the SAT. You can go ahead and take it 2 or 3 times. And if you do that, you are allowed to super score your score. Now, the concept of super scoring is you can take the best of math and best of English across your attempts, add that score together, and that becomes your overall score. So let me give you an example. Say you take the SAT for the first time, you got a 800 on 800 in math, and say English is 600 out of 800. So your overall score is 1400 on 1600. Next time when you're preparing for the SAT, just prepare only for the English part. So even if math drops by few points is not going to make a difference because they anyways take the best of math and best of English. The fact that you've already scored a 800 on math on the previous attempt, if the score drops, does not make any difference. They're going to super score your scores, right? So let me summarize. It's an aptitude test, has 2 components, math and English, scored out of 1600 points, 800 for math, 800 for English. Exam happens 8 times a year. Ideal time is to prepare for the SATs right after the 10th boards. Sit for this exam in the beginning of 11th. You can repeat it twice or thrice, and you can super score your scores. Even the ones who have joined the call who are in grade 12, you can still take the SAT, but just remember you are going to get too close to the deadlines of the college because you're going to apply in the month of November, and you have to finish your SAT in August, September. So it's too close to the deadline, but you can still go ahead and take this exam, right? Sorry. So English and math, as I told you, English is basically reading comprehension and grammar, and math is everything what you have studied until 10th, which is algebra, arithmetic, geometry, mensuration and all of these. So more about the content of the exam, you can always check online. And students, we have for those who want to test where they stand today on the SAT, we have a free SAT diagnostic test available on our website. Now, the difference between our diagnostic test versus something like the one that College Board offers is the College Board mocks are outdated. They have not been updated for the last couple of years, and we keep updating our content for the exam, looking at the present trend on how the questions are getting asked. So, of course, we take feedback from the kids. We ask them what new that they got in the exam, and we try to incorporate that, in our test platform. So, I feel our diagnostic is as close as possible to the actual SAT, and that's freely available on our website, questforsuccess.in. There is a SAT diagnostic test page, which you can go there. You can click start the diagnostic test, and it's a 2 hour 15-minute test, exactly the way digital SAT is. Take the exam. The moment you finish the exam, you get your score, and you get a AI powered report which shows which are your areas of weakness, where you need to work upon, what's your score out of 1600. You get everything, and it's all free of cost, available freely on our website, questforsuccess.in. SAT diagnostic test page. So you can take a diagnostic to see where you stand today on the SATs. Now, which countries require SAT? Who should actually take the SAT exam? Look, we all know SAT is required by US universities, but it has now started getting global acceptance. So outside US, you have universities in Canada. If you want to apply to these top universities of Canada, like Toronto, British Columbia, Waterloo, they say SAT is optional. But then if you're applying for, say, competitive programs there, especially STEM related, and that too in top universities, having a good SAT score gives you an edge over the other applicants. So it's optional for you to submit, but if you have a good SAT score, go ahead and submit. It will increase your chances of getting accepted there. So other than Canada, you have NUS, NTU in Singapore, where you can submit your SAT. Again, it will improve your chances. Hong Kong, HKUST, HKU, both accept SATs, and other European universities like Stockholm School of Economics, ICE, Spain. So there are, certain universities in Europe as well where you need your SATs. So it's primarily for the US. You need it for Singapore, top universities of Canada, and certain universities in Europe. In India, SAT you can submit at Plaksha, Ashoka, and bunch of these liberal arts and other private colleges like Shiv Nadar, Kriya, OP Jindal, Flame. So the idea is if you take the SAT, you don't need to take the entrance exam of Symbiosis or Flame, individual entrance exam of these colleges. One SAT and you can apply to all the most of these private colleges in our country. Plaksha is one college which I was, there last week. I think it's very, very good for tech, for those who want to stay back in India and want to do BTech, but they don't want to get into this IIT race. I think, this is one of the best option right now in our country. The average placement salary was above 20 lakhs. Highest pay was 50, 60 lakhs for, CS branch. So it's a good university. Acceptance rate is 4-5%. It has Ashoka Plaksha has gone very competitive in India now. The acceptance rates are around 5%, and you need, a good SAT score, good academics, and your entire CV. So they accept students the way US accepts. Basically, you need a CV, SAT, and your grades. So good choices in our country as well. Why yes for SAT prep? Why are we different from the others? Look, it's all about the results, to be fair. You judge an institute based on the outcome, how the previous students have performed. So we have one of the best results in our country today right now. You can see our results entirely on our website. We have published last 2 years results there. So I think today we are one of the best in our country today. So how do we do? What do we do different? Look, what do we do different? One is we have very good tutors. I think one of the best teachers teaching you. And secondly, it's a very rigorous curriculum. There's no shortcut that, you can get a high score. The rigor is required. We have two options. You can pick a one-on-one program, or we can book our group classes. Classes are online. In one-on-one, we start with a free diagnostic test. We see where you stand today, looking at the report, what are your areas of weaknesses, and that is shared with the teacher. But having said that, we still work on all the areas, but we emphasize more on the weakness part. So the course is entirely customized, one-on-one, 70 to 80 hours of tutoring spread across 5 months. You have a dedicated academic mentor who will give weekly reports to your parents, schedule parent-teacher meeting with the teachers, keep a track record of your mocks and, your homework. There's a WhatsApp group that where the teacher, the mentor, the parents, and the students are for easier communication. And you get access to our digital SAT portal, which has topic wise questions and 40 plus full length mocks as well. So this is how we operate on a one-on-one system. One-on-one could be customized. We still have students who come with a 1500 and say we want a 1550. So of course, we don't need 70, 80 hours for that. So, but someone who starts fresh, we need around 4 to 5 months of prep spread across 70 to 80 hours of tutoring, other than the homework part we are saying. So it's generally 4 or 5 days a week class for 4 months. The second option we have is a small group class where you have a group of 5. Everything else stays the same, but it cannot be customized. It's a set program that we run for group in a group of 5, 4 to 5 months of prep. And you get access to the material, there's a mentor and everything else stays the same, what is there for a one-on-one tutoring. Right. Any questions on the SATs, anyone? Please unmute yourself and you can freely ask. Let it be an interactive session. Any questions, anyone? Yeah, I think your name is not coming, but
Hi, Pooja.
yeah. Hi, Miss Pooja. Please tell me.
Okay, I'm so sorry that I'm not putting my camera on. First of all, sorry
No
for that.
problem.
Okay, Abhishek, so just wanted to understand how relevant is this for the business schools?
Ma'am, irrespective of whether you want to pursue STEM, business, law, or art, SAT is required. So whether you want
So
to do
let's
pre-med
okay.
or economics doesn't matter.
Okay, understood. So is it like you are saying? So let's say if somebody, so 5 to 6 months of present this thing preparation, and then the person goes for the exam, and
Right.
okay, understood. So it is, let's say my child is in the grade 12th. So how do you want us to go about it? So we
Ma'am,
should
we
start
start now and we prepare him for the August SAT, him or her.
August SAT. So we
We
just, you said 5 to 6 months. We are already in
4 to 5
April now.
months, ma'am.
So
So
four to
April,
five
May,
months.
June, July, August, because end of August is the SAT exam, not beginning of August.
Okay,
So you
understood,
get
sir.
the whole of August as well.
Okay, understood. Fair enough. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other question? Please unmute yourself and you can ask about SAT or anything to do with the SAT prep. Yeah, you can unmute yourself. For most of the parents, I cannot see the names for some of them. So please unmute yourself. Any other questions on the SAT, anyone?
Yeah, I have a question.
Please go ahead.
So, even if the college doesn't entirely require the SAT exam, is it preferable to still submit it?
So look, SAT optional is the biggest gimmick that the US says, especially for tier 1 colleges. Look, if you want to apply into tier 1 colleges, I'm telling you the weightage on SAT this year was more than I have ever seen in the last 12 years. With more AI coming in, I feel the weightage on the ACADS and the SATs are increasing year on year compared to the essays that you're writing. So if your score is good, go ahead and submit your score. It will improve your chances. Now, the good part about SAT optional is you try. If your score is not good, don't submit the score. You can still go ahead and apply with your ACADS and your CV. Hide your SAT score. Don't reveal the SAT score. So these are self-reported score. They won't come to know unless you tell them what score you have gotten. So use it to your advantage. Try your best to get a good score. If that happens, submit it, improves your chance. If it does not happen, don't submit your SAT score. Go ahead and still apply to the college. Did I answer your question?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Hi. So my son is preparing for 12th, actually. He's in 12th and he's taking his AP classes from you as well. Now, the question is that he is interested only in Singapore. Those are the top 4 universities: MUS, NTU, SMU, and SCP. So, how important will, obviously, he's taking his APs and he has in May. How important will be SAT scores for him, like to have an edge? And what else extra, like what extra can he do?
Regarding extra, I'll definitely cover in the next part of the session. But I'm telling you, Singapore has become so competitive this year. So this is the first year we'll exactly come to know because of what's happening around, globally. the preference has definitely shifted more towards Singapore for Indian parents that, it's close by, safety, and of course the quality of education. I feel it's going to be super competitive in the next couple of years in Singapore. So get your ACADS very high. Previously, if you would have got a 95% above on a CBSE exam, it was almost guaranteed that you will secure a seat at NUS. But now above 95 is definitely one criteria. A SAT score of 1500 plus is another. If you're a CBSE IST student, have at least 3-4 APs with you. And on your CV part, build on your co-curriculars. So related to the academics, related to the major that you want to pursue, build your CV in that direction. So if you want to say apply for say computer science, your CV should show your love for CS, that, outside school, you went ahead and pursued A, B, C, D, E things, related to the major that you want to pursue. So Singapore is not only on 95% anymore. You need your SATs, you need your APs, and of course, a good CV, because the number of applicants, I feel this year has doubled. By next year, it will double from here again. So competitiveness is increasing. And in fact, they ask you 5 questions now at NUS application. Why do you want to study this major? What are your academic related achievements that you have secured during your high school? What are the other things that you have done during your high school related to the major that you want to pursue? So they're asking these questions on your application. So the difference between applying to Singapore versus US is US looks at it holistically. So they value your swimming, music, dance, art, everything. But Singapore, UK is more related to the academic related things that you have done. They value your summer program or your internship or your Olympiad rank, but everything to do with this. They probably won't give that much weightage to say a music or a swimming or your community project, right? So good ACADS, SAT 1500 plus. They say SAT is optional. And I'm telling you, 8 out of 10 students applying to NUS Singapore are going to submit their SAT score to, get a chance there. So why would you want to be that, the other two who does not want to submit? So yeah, I hope that I've answered this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Hi, Abhishek. Just one more quick question. Pooja, this side again. So, how relevant is this for the Australian universities? This is one. And second, how relevant is this for the SP Jain? Because we are trying in SP Jain also.
Ma'am, SP Jain, Bombay, you are saying? Or the
No,
global BBA program?
global.
मैम
global.
एसपी जैन ग्लोबल बीबीए इज वेरी इजी टू गेट इन. आप कुछ भी मत कीजिए, आपका हो जाएगा. So
No, but then see, again, it's about not getting into the admission. The smartness of the child also matters. That, okay, fine, in future when he has to study there, it will also impact or help him, right?
So look, what I am saying is, per se, to get into the SP Jain college, you don't need a SAT score. All you do is get above 60% in your school and you get through there. Coming to Australia, SAT is not required. Sometimes we have seen getting a good SAT score helps you to get in scholarships in some of these
Okay.
Australian universities. But per se, to get admissions there, you don't need a SAT score.
Understood, sir. Great. Thank you so much. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, one more question before we move to the advanced placement exam. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, good morning. This is Arvind from Abu Dhabi.
Hi, sir.
Wanted to ask, what's the best to score SAT is required for the top universities? Because my son got 1520. That's why I want to know.
So that's a good score. 1500 is the 99th percentile score on the SAT. So anything above 1500, you're in the top 1% of the students who took the SAT exam. So it's a very good score. I mean, look, if you want to say apply to Ivy League colleges and you still have one more shot, give it one more and try getting a 1550 plus. If your target is say Carnegie Mellon or Georgia Tech or the Stanfords and the Ivies and all. So since we have time, we should push once more and try a 1550 plus. Otherwise, we anyways have a very good SAT score.
Yeah, they are in ASA levels, so that's why I wanted to know. Yeah,
One more shot, if we can push to a 1550 plus, would be helpful if we are targeting CMU and all of these colleges.
Sure, thanks. This was the first attempt. Okay, we'll try. Thank you.
Let's take it once more. Okay, I think one more question before we move to the AP.
Hello.
Yes,
Hi,
please.
my name is Sana. My daughter is in eighth grade, but I just wanted to have an idea. That's why I've joined today's session. And I wanted to know she's interested in astrophysics. So, what colleges, we can look for that particular,
Well, this is a one-on-one
area?
thing that I will have with you, but we have Rehan today in our call who's going to give a brief about astro. He's got into UC Berkeley which is the number one college in the world to study astrophysics today. That's UC
O-
Berkeley. So one of our
Okay.
student, Rehan Dias, has made it this year, and I've invited him for the session. So he'll give you a little brief there.
Okay, that's nice. And one more, just a small thing. Because she's in eighth, I wanted to know what extracurricular, like you were talking about, what activity should we focus on since we have time now?
I will take it one-on-one, a Zoom meeting separately with you, where I'll exactly explain how do we build a CV from grade 8 onwards. But just to
Okay.
answer, have a very strong math and physics foundation for her. Uh,
Okay.
so from 8th grade, you have something like AMC 8 exam, American Math Competition for grade 8 students. It's the mother of all math exam, the AMC 8, after
Yeah.
Olympiads, of course, International Math Olympiad. So start preparing her for AMC 8 so that she can
Okay.
later do AMC 10, American Math Competition. The colleges would love to see a good, strong foundation in math and physics for her. So that's
Okay.
where we need to build on, and we like do it one-on-one to explain you how exactly we can, build it over the next 4 years.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. So anything else, we will take it next, after APs. Any more questions on the site? Let's move on. Okay. Just a second. Right. So let's move to the next segment, which is the advanced placement exam. One of the very important exams in context for students who want to target very, very high elite universities. So let me introduce you to this exam and give you a brief about APs. So AP stands for Advanced Placement Exams. This exam is conducted by the same organization which conducts the SAT, and that's the College Board. But unlike SAT, which happens 8 times a year, the advanced placement exam happens only once a year in the month of May. Okay, every year in the month of May, you have your APs. Now, what are these APs all about? Look, in one sentence, let me explain you what APs are. Basically, these are college level courses which are meant to be taught during college first year. But there is a provision that high school students can take up these courses starting from grade 9 onwards. And if you end up scoring a 4 or a 5 out of 5 on your APs, you are exempted to study that subject when you go to college first year. So very briefly, what are you doing? You are trying to attempt a course which is meant to be taught in college first year, but you're doing it as a high school student. And if you're able to ace that exam, you're telling the college that, look, something which is meant to be taught in college first year, I did that subject as a grade 9 or a grade 10 or a grade 11 student, and I cracked that exam. And hence, I am ready for the academic rigor of the university. That is the sole purpose of giving APs. By doing these AP courses, you are trying to demonstrate your academic rigor to the university, that you went above your limits, above your school level curriculum, challenged yourself to do a college level course while you were a high school student, and you aced that exam, which shows that you are ready for the academic rigor of the university. That is, the idea behind taking APs. The byproduct advantage is, because you have studied a college level course while you were a high school student, you don't need to repeat that subject when you go to college first year. So you get credits for that subject. In the past, hundreds of students of Quest have finished their undergrad in the US in 3 years instead of 4 because of the AP credits that they had carried forward to the university. Hundreds, of my students have finished their undergrad in 3 years instead of 4, which resulted in them saving entire 1 year of their tuition fees, living expenses, because you pay university based on the number of years it takes for you to finish your course. So if you have done a 4 year course in 3 years, you only end up paying for 3 years college, and you still get your 4 year degree, right? And because of the AP credits that you had secured during your high school. But the credit part is very secondary for the students. The primary purpose of giving AP is to strengthen your college application. Look, what's happening around is so many kids are securing so good grades in their school that it is very difficult to differentiate between two students. So many students are able to get good grades. Olympiads and APs are the only two way to demonstrate your academic rigor beyond school level curriculum. So either, not those SOF Olympiads I'm talking about, so either go ahead and take those AMC exam, or international math or physics Olympiad or astrophysics competition, astronomy, some competition where you challenged yourself at national or international level, and you manage that rank. So that shows your academic achievement beyond school level. And the second way to demonstrate is by doing a college level course while you were a high school student. Look, Quest was the institute in India which started teaching AP back in 2013. When no one knew about APs, I had a couple of students who wanted to get into Harvard and Stanford that year. And that's when we started teaching AP, because it was only meant for Ivy League or, top 5, 6, 8 colleges where students used to take APs. This year, I have 250 kids preparing for APs. So the awareness has gone multifolds, and you will be surprised to know 40% of our kids are actually grade 9 students taking up AP courses. Now you can always ask, how's a grade 9 student able to do a college level course? Look, there are certain subjects where you don't need a prerequisite knowledge. Say something like psychology. Whether I teach you psychology in grade 9 or grade 11 or college first year does not matter. You're going to learn it for the first time anyways. So, courses like psychology, microeconomics, English, computer science, if you know basic Python or Java, AP statistics, these do not, history, human geography, environmental studies, there is no prerequisite knowledge required to take up these courses. Even physics, there are parts, physics 1, physics 2. Physics 1 is actually for grade 9, grade 10 kids, right? So there are certain APs which do not require prerequisite knowledge, which easily 9th and 10th graders can do. Certain APs which do require prerequisite knowledge, something like calculus, physics C, mechanics, or chemistry, we only encourage them to take up in grade 11, because you need to know 10th grade math to even attempt calculus, right? So students from grade 9 onwards can start taking up APs. Now, how many APs should you do? Should you do APs or not? These are some questions that we will take one-on-one with you and guide you. But let me put it, APs are only meant for students who are doing excellent at school level, where grades are not your issue and you can challenge yourself beyond school. If your grades are the issue, you're still scoring 70, 75, in school, there's no point taking up an AP course. Why don't you put in that extra effort and make that 75 to say 85 or a 90? But if you're already secured at school, you think you're doing well and you can push yourself to do a couple of APs, go ahead and start preparing for APs. Every year, May it happens. Those who are in grade 9, you get a chance every year to do APs. You can plan like 2 APs in 9th, 1 or 2 in 10th, 1 or 2 in 11th. You have 4 or 5 APs to go along with school. That will be like super heavy profile academic wise, right? So those who are already in grade 12, we have missed the bus. We cannot take APs anymore. This year, AP registrations are already over. But the ones who are in 9th, 10th, 11th, you guys have chance. APs are for a top 20 university in the world, you need APs if you're a CBSE, ISE, state board student from India. There is an advantage that IB students get here or A-level student get here compared to other students, because the IB HL subjects are treated equivalent to an AP course. So the ones who are studying IB, DP, they would know there are 3 HL, 3 SL subjects in 11th and 12th. Your 3 HL subjects are treated equivalent to an AP, 3 APs. So IB Math HL is same as AP Calculus. IB Physics HL is same as AP Physics C Mechanics, right? So if you get a 7 on 7 on your IB final exam, you are exempted to study that subject when you go to college first year. So you can say IB students are doing 3 APs already. Same goes with A level, the ones who are taking, math, physics, chemistry, economics, whatever, these subjects are treated equivalent to an AP course. That remember, A level math is not same as AP calculus. A level further math is same as AP calculus. So if you are going for a math oriented major and you're a A-level student, go ahead and take AP calculus. Now, the problem is the CBSE, ISE courses are not treated equivalent to an AP course. It's not that they feel that is more rigorous versus this, nothing like that. It's just that IB and A levels are, more renowned, happens in multiple countries. So when they see the textbooks of these curriculums, they say it's very closely aligned to the AP curriculum and they give the same weightage. But they can't see every single board of every single country to see whether it matches to the AP curriculum or not. So it's not like CBSE, ISE, state board, Indonesia board, this board, X board. You can't keep checking the syllabus and say whether it's equivalent to an AP. So we don't get that advantage. Where are AP required? Of course, must say for US. In UK as well, if you are targeting colleges like Imperial, UCL, Cambridge, Oxford, you need beyond your ACADS grades to, make a competitive profile. NUS Singapore, NTU, again, AP helpful. HKUST, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, APs are helpful. So top 20 colleges of the world, anywhere you want to apply for, especially for non-IB, non-A-level kids, AP is almost, you can say it's a must now if you're targeting those. For IB A-level kids, we still have those students also taking up APs, but what they choose to do is they do not take APs in the subject which they are going to take as part of their IB, HL or A-level subject. So I still have students who say take math, physics, economics at HL, but they end up taking say AP computer science or AP statistics in 9th or 10th. Because they say want to pursue data science or com science, but they are not taking computer science as a subject in school. So they won't take the subject, same subject what they're taking in their HL subjects. You can still end up taking AP in that subject. Same goes with A-level students, right? Now, which APs to do, how many you should do for your child. This is all one-on-one interaction that I need to have with you. So that is something that we will take outside the call. We can have a one-on-one discussion where we can help you which subject, how many we should do, and all of this, looking at the overall things. So what are the advantages of AP? You get college credits, those who want a scholarship, those who want to save fees, still want to get into US, dollar is pinching you, want to save money, please do APs, guys. You get college credits. Go check out Reddit, Google, ChatGPT, everywhere. APs are the only way to save tuition fees in US universities. You can finish your undergrad in 3 years by getting these, credits. It also gets you a chance of getting merit-based scholarships from university. The only way to get merit-based is to show merit to the university beyond your school level. So, scholarship or saving the fees, but more importantly, to get into that college, AP makes your applications more competitive. APs are offered in various subjects. You have Calc, Physics, Chem, Bio, Psychology, History, Geography, Economics, Statistics, Language. This year, they have even introduced AP Business and AP Cybersecurity for the first time. So this is going to be AP Business Management, where they are going to teach you finance and everything. So this is the first year that they're introducing this. So we'll have 2 additional APs this year. Yeah. And look, we have a lot of expertise teaching APs because, as I told, we were the first institute in our country which started teaching APs 12, 13 years back. I think we have taught more students than any other institute of our country today when it comes to the advanced placement exams. Right. Any questions, anyone on the APs now?
Hi, sir.
Hi.
So, if I want to pursue something in physics or math or STEM, and if I take a physics HL and IB, is it worth doing a physics C mechanics?
No, not required. Look, you're already proving yourself. You get a 7 on 7 predicted, they know you're smart in physics. So
Okay.
I would rather diversify and take something like stats or computers,
Okay. Thanks.
Look,
Hi,
and next
Abhishek.
question.
Yeah,
Hi.
hi, Pooja this side. Just wanted to understand again, year 12, my child, is he required to do AP now because he will be doing the business management? Are we
No, no.
late or we still have time?
Look, business management for that, APs are not required, not
Okay,
necessarily.
understood. Fair enough. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Next
Hi,
question.
I have a question. My son will be taking maths AAHL and physics HL in grade 11. He is now in grade 10. So does he also need to do a AP calculus?
Ma'am, look, calculus is a very, emotional thing that sometimes it happens. I'll tell you, if he's very, very good, suppose with math, sometimes we still take them do AP calculus with IB Math AAHL, so that after AP calculus, the next level of math is actually the multivariable calculus. And, we make them do that course during the summer, which Stanford offers or a Berkeley offers. Now, look, if he's applying for, say, something like applied math or a very math heavy career, so there's no harm taking both math, AHL and AP Calc and go even beyond AP Calculus during your summer of 12th and push yourself to do a 3rd semester worth college level course. So as I told, this is something we'll have a one-on-one discussion with you, ma'am. I should not answer a yes or a no right now. Let's look at the overall context and then see whether, that should be applicable or not.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, anyone on the APs or the SATs? So how much time does one need to prepare for the APs? Takes around 6 months, to be honest, if you're preparing for the APs. So this year APs are already done. I mean, it's happening in May. Registrations are over, so we can't prepare you this year. But the ones who are looking at preparing APs next year in May, our 9th and 10th graders, in fact, start as early as June or July, and they start once a week class, which goes on throughout the year. So that way you are able to balance with the school acads. The ones who are in grade 11, we ask them to finish their SAT by August and October, and then start preparing from October to May, which will then happen twice a week class for an hour each. We have students even starting after 10th boards, the crash course, where they do 6 days a week class, the ones who come in February or March. So, we start batches multiple times a year. There is one-on-one offering also. So there's no problem. But plan it out beforehand. To all the parents and students, the advice is, if you're looking to crack some of these top universities, guys, start early. Don't wait. Some parents think, oh, we are still not sure what career option he's going to pick. Once he's sure, then we'll start. By that time, 11th grade mid is over, end is over. I mean, how do you build? Then it becomes difficult, right? To the child that everything has to be done in the last 8 months, SAT, AP, profile, which is very tough to manage with school acads. The smartest ones are the ones who start early. You figure out your major during when you are building your CV. You don't need to know what you want to do in grade 9. No one knows, to be honest. How many of them are very sure at age of 13, 14 what they want to do, which is fine. But through these profile building activities, which we'll talk about, and by doing these APs, the clarity comes. At least okay, these are the 2-3 areas I like. Why don't you try your hands, dirty your hands in both these areas? Say someone is confused between biology versus computers. Okay, let's get engaged. Why don't we do a project related to bio, or a small internship, or learn a Python course in computer science and see which one I'm enjoying the most, right? I'm just giving you an example. So grade 9, grade 10 is a very good time to explore and, try things out practically, be sure what you are doing, what you are liking. And once you zero in on this, okay, this is what I like. In grade 11, 12, you can go very aggressive to build your CV in that direction. So don't wait. Oh, let the 10th board get over. My marks is secured. Then I will start worrying about 11th. It's getting more competitive year on year. So start early. That gives you a breather. That gives you more time, to plan out things. You can rise, fall, everything can happen. But if you start late and you fall once, your SAT does not click on first attempt, and you're like, look, I'm running short of time. I don't even have time now. So it becomes too close for comfort. So start early, and during the journey itself, you will figure out what you're liking, what you're not liking. And that's the best part about this journey. So we'll talk about the profile building things. Try out APs, in 9th and 10th. Okay, let me try AP economics. I want to learn economics. I want to learn psychology. So good part about AP is it's not necessarily has to be related to the major that you want to pursue. You have students who want to pursue computer science, but they end up taking AP psychology, AP economics. And the good part is they get credits for these APs. Because unlike India, where when someone goes for engineering, he only studies engineering subjects in our country. But when someone goes and studies engineering outside, he or she is required to pick up subjects from humanities as well. One subject per semester. So you get your credits for that anyways. So, and students are doing major minor combination, double major. There are students who are doing computers with economics, economics with psychology, biology with computers, biology with math. They're mixing and matching their major minor combination also. And which is the need of the hour today, to be honest, interdisciplinary majors. Gone are the days when you only specialize in something like mechanical or computer or this thing. Now, kids are trying 2-3 majors. The student who wants to do music with economics. So they are doing these interdisciplinary major minor combination, which the flexibility which is offered outside India, right? So start early, gives you a breather, can plan things out very well, and make a strong case, for some of these top universities. Right. Okay, so let's move beyond APs. Look, I have one screenshot that I would like to share with you to show you the importance of AP exams. So the Dean of MIT and Princeton had visited India in October in Bombay. I went ahead and attended their presentation, and this is what MIT's Dean had showcased, and I clicked it in my phone. In 2024, 962 MIT first year students sent 9,359 AP exam scores to MIT. The first year class size was 1099. What does this mean? Out of 1099 students, 962 had at least one or more APs with them. And in between them, they had 9,359 AP exam scores, which means on an average, 9 APs were submitted by every single MIT student. So it doesn't mean that you have to do 9 APs or 8 APs, 7 APs. It's not like that, but it shows, the weightage of APs in the application. Now, this was shared by the Dean of Princeton. And I clicked it myself on my phone. Okay, so this is fully authenticated. Now, 2023, there was a survey done to check what factors determines the acceptance of a student in a college. what is given the most importance and what is given, lesser importance. Look at the top three. Now, SAT is coming lower here because those years SAT was optional. COVID had just hit 21, 22. So SAT was not required in those years. But they definitely told me that, SAT has gone up to fourth level now, fourth in the ranking. So high school grades, your total high school grades, strength of the high school curriculum, what are the subjects you took, how much you challenged yourself, what grades you got. So the first three itself is all about grades, grades, and grades, right? And then your SATs, and then you talk about your essay, your counselor recommendation, your teacher recommendation, your extracurriculars. That follows. So that's what I was pointing at the beginning of the session. It's your grades, your SATs, and then your CV that you're building. But sometimes I see parents, they are only worried about, okay, let him first secure grade, then he will build his CV. This is not how you work. You have to do this parallelly. So balance out your academics and take out little time, and use your summer holidays very wisely to go very aggressive on the profile building part. I feel 50-60% of the profile building that happens during the year happens during the summer break. When students do 7-8 things, they're engaged 6-8 hours a day, say attending a summer program, doing an online internship, working on a research project or working on a passion project. Summer is the best time to build on 50% of the things. And during the entire year, you can take small things, balancing your academics and do the balance 50%. So this is the smart way of building the CV. And this is the way that other students are able to manage their acads as well as build a strong CV, right? So there is one student who could sleep the entire summer, go, okay, take a break, go take 1 week, 2 weeks if you want to go on a holiday, but then the remaining 4 weeks or 6 weeks should be utilized very well in building your profile. Right. Next is the TMUA. So what's TMUA? Test of Mathematics for University Admissions. Now, I mentioned SAT is accepted by US, Singapore, Canada. I never mentioned it was required for UK. So remember, SAT is not required for UK colleges. UK has come up with its own entrance test, which is called the Test of Mathematics for University Admissions. Now, selective, only those 5-6 universities want, one more you can add this year. Oxford has announced they want TMUA. So these are the 6-7 universities in UK which says, look, I need a TMUA score in case you want to apply to a major which is heavy math. So not for all majors, those who want to say apply for politics, philosophy, or, psychology, which are not math oriented majors, you don't need a TMUA score. But if you want to apply for economics, finance, computer science, data science, you need TMUA score now. It has been made mandatory by these universities. What is this exam about? The name signifies it's a math test, which tests your mathematical ability. The syllabus is exactly your 11th grade syllabus of school. Your functions, trigonometry, logarithms, law of mathematical induction, sequences and series, and it also has calculus as well. So that's the syllabus. The level of difficulty of TMUA is one level above IB Math AAHL. It is similar to the further math Cambridge syllabus of AS level. So those who are in Cambridge syllabus, the further math is the TMUA syllabus. So one level above math AHL, 2 level above CBSE math, 1 level below IIT JEE mains. So that's TMUA. This exam you can only take while you are in grade 12. You can only take the TMUA exam while you are in 12th grade. The score is only valid for that year. You cannot take it in 9th, 10th, or 11th. You are only allowed to take while you are in 12th grade, right? This exam happens twice in the year of grade 12. One happens in the month of October. One happens in January. You can take either, but if you want to apply to Cambridge, you have to take the October seating of TMUA. That's compulsory. But to apply to say Imperial, Warwick, LSE and all, you can even take the Jan seating. Takes around 4 to 5 months to prepare. June to October is the time frame that you need to prepare for the TMUA exam. Last year we had 5 kids. 4 of them, one got Cambridge, 3 of them made to Imperial. So we did very well on our TMUA. The reason is we have been preparing Cambridge tutoring for the last 10 years. We have students who are doing further math and all with us. So it's very easy for us to prepare for this exam. It's a very recently introduced exam. Previously, only Cambridge used to ask for TMUA. No other college wanted TMUA scores. Now from last year, everyone has started asking we need TMUA. Why is this happening? Because they want to filter the applicants, so many applications are going now to UK because what's happening with, with Mr. Trump and US. So who will go and check every single application becomes tough. So SAT, TMUA, these are the exams to filter out your, applicants and then use other, whatever is remaining, you see your profile and ACADS and everything. So this is a filter test, I would say, for most of the universities, right? Which major exactly for your major, whether TMUA is relevant or not, please visit the website of these 6 colleges and check for for that particular major that you want to apply for, whether TMUA is required or not. But anything to do with economics, math, finance, data science, comm science, you need a TMUA score. But if you want to do engineering in Oxford or Imperial, then there's another exam called as ESAT. That's not TMUA. If you want to do mechanical engineering or biotech engineering or computer engineering, is another exam, which is the ESAT. Okay. And for medical, there is another exam called as UCAT, University Clinical Aptitude Test. So like India, you have JEE, NEET and everything. US has one SAT, whether you want to become a doctor, lawyer, engineer, businessman, or economics, you just need SAT. In UK, you have, for medical, you have UCAT. For math, computer science, data science, economics, you have TMUA. For engineering, you have ESAT. So you have 3 different exams. Right. Any questions on SAT, AP, or TMUA before we move to the next segment, which is the profile building, which is our last segment for the day. Right. Any questions, anyone, on SAT, AP, or TMUA?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah,
This is Arvind here, Parthiv and Arvind from Abu Dhabi.
Hi, sir.
He just finished the, this SAT. Now wanted to appear for the TMUU. How long preparation will be required?
Sir, June to September, 4 months.
Okay. And what
So
would be
once they finish their AS level exam, they should start preparing for it immediately. Use the summer aggressively, and August, September, you can do your mocks, sit for the October exam.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. And what would be the score is
Sir, it's
reasonable
out
score?
of 9 points, 9. This year we
Yeah.
got admits at 6 at Imperial and 7 at Cambridge. So I say, you need 6 or above for Imperial, UCL, LSE and all. 7 and above if you're looking at Oxford and Cambridge, out of 9.
Okay, thanks, noting.
Right. Next question, please.
Hi. So my son is actually preparing for engineering again. So for Imperial College and UCL, he doesn't need to take TMUA. He needs to go for ESAT, you see.
Yes.
So there's no need for TMU.
Yeah, for engineering. If he's very sure he wants to
Yes.
apply for engineering, then ESAT is the exam to be taken.
Yeah. So ESAT is again maths only, or what is it?
Math is compulsory. The second section is either you pick physics, chem, or bio, optional, one of the 3.
Okay. And
So
when does
math
the
is
exam
compulsory.
happen?
Same, October and Jan, same.
And when are the dates for the registration?
Sir, the dates will start in August, the registration dates, but start preparing from June, and we prepare students for ESAT.
Okay.
By the way, UCL does not need ESAT for engineering. It's Cambridge and Imperial which needs ESAT for engineering. UCL for engineering, there is no exam. Directly rely on the ACADS and of course, your SOP and the CV.
And they also do not rely on SAT and APs, right?
No. APs, yes, if you have a CBSE, you're a CBSE ISC student, you have
Yes.
done APs, definitely helps in UK colleges as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it does help.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, anyone? Before we move to
Excuse
the
me?
profile? Yes, please.
Is the STP exam like fully phased out, or can you
Sorry?
still do it for extra credit? The STEP
Sorry,
exam,
your voice is
the
very soft.
STEP exam,
What is
STEP
HTAP?
exam.
The step is only for the math course. Pure math. Right. Any other questions?
Hi, my son is in grade 10 now, and he will be taking IB, HL, Physics, Maths AA, and Economics, and SL, Computer Science. Is it any AP recommended at this stage?
Sir, look, couple of things we need to see whether mid of grade 11, what score is he at? Is he able to manage his school very well? If he's
Average 6
managing
out
his...
of 7 in IB.
Sorry, he's a?
Average 6 average.
Then I would not suggest AP. You would rather want 7 in math, 7 in physics. So push yourself to, get your 7s. So AP, I would say if he's already getting 7s in all subjects, or he's a 40 on 42 with most subjects 7, and he wants to push it to 1 or 2 APs, that's okay. Otherwise, unless you are 7 in your HLs, don't go ahead and take APs.
All right. Thank you.
Math, physics, HL 7 is a must if you are applying to top 20 colleges for STEM majors. So rather focus on that.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions, anyone? We move to the next segment. Right. Let's move. The last segment, how do you build a strong CV for your college applications? Now, so the profile part, which we'll talk about, what exactly is this profile? So I would say profile is a bunch of extracurriculars, co-curriculars that you have done, during your school year, the last 4 or 5 years of your school mostly, which is heavy, but you can still demonstrate anything from grade 6, grade 7. You've started learning music and all for 7, 8 years, or, languages and all. So basically, bunch of your extracurriculars and co-curriculars is your profile, plus the essays that you write for your college. Now, why is it that they give a weightage to profile? Universities want to see diversification. They want to see, okay, outside academics, what do you exactly do? How do you utilize your time? You cannot just say, I study, but no one is studying 24 hours or 15, 16, 18 hours a day, right? They want to see, okay, when you're not studying, what exactly are you doing? So that is where they want to see how best you utilize your time. See, the idea is, if a student is say engaged in research, building his passion project, working, doing music, doing swimming, it means he will utilize the time productively outside the classroom, which is what colleges want. They just don't want students to do very well academically in the college. They're like, okay, once the class gets over, what exactly are you going to bring to the table to the college? So basically what they see is someone who has been doing all of this in the past. There are higher chances that you will be doing that, even in the future. So someone says, I have done a couple of research papers, I've done research, written a paper, published in a peer-reviewed journal. It means higher chances that the student will even take up research activities when he or she enters the college, working with the professor. So I'm just giving an example for research. So basically through the profile, they want to see what exactly you do outside your school, what are the things you are most engaged in, what are the things you love, and what are the things you are most passionate about, and how much depth you have gone into that. Remember, this is not a checkbox where we go wrong. Most of the parents or students go wrong, and then they're like, sir, we did everything right, but why did we not crack that college? Remember, college values depth over breadth. You don't need to have tick boxes. Oh, I have done one internship, I've done one summer program, I've done one research, I've done one community project. I've done one of each of this, and I should get into the university. In fact, they're not even looking like this. They're like, it should tell a story. I'll just give you an example. Say you want to pursue data science, AI, CS to the college. How would you want to demonstrate to the university your love for the subject? Say start with learning Python through a Coursera course, or say Stanford has also offered a free Python course this summer for high school students. You say, I've done a Python course. Say I went ahead and did a summer program on AI during the summer. I came back, I picked up a research project in AI machine learning, or say I did a UC San Diego course on, AI machine learning online. And then I picked up a research project, and then I built a passion project. I made up, an app using AI tools and everything, right? So that shows a clear cut path. You started with learning Python, you went ahead and learned, basics of AI, you went ahead and did a small project, a research paper. So that shows a continuity in your story and the depth of, how much deep you went in the curriculum. So that is what colleges are worried about. I see students, counselors have started selling research from grade 9. Oh, publish a research paper. But you should know the background. No, you should know before you go ahead and do research. You cannot directly go and do a research paper like this. So the quality of research will matter, right? It will not come very good if you have not done it for the last 1.5 years. You have not done your prerequisites. So they value depth over breadth. So don't start ticking boxes. Oh, I've done one of each. I'll put that in my CV and, I'll get into the college. This is not what colleges are looking at. Colleges are looking at depth over breadth, right? And through the profile, they want to see how students are able to demonstrate, or how students are, utilizing their time outside school level. So there are two components to the profile. One are your extracurriculars and one are your co-curriculars or supercurriculars. Extracurricular is everything not related to the ACADS that you're doing. It could be music, sports, drama, community project, volunteering. That's extracurriculars. The supercurriculars are everything related to the academics. It could be competitions, Olympiads, working on a passion project, doing your research paper, going to a summer program. Even summer program, be very specific to which program you want to go. Go to good ones, go to the competitive ones. Sometimes The brand name does not matter. Someone will think, oh, I went ahead and did a Harvard summer program. But do you know it's not a very great program anyways, although it's offered by Harvard. So the program that a UC Santa Cruz offers for astrophysics or a physics is, 10 times better than what Harvard offers. So and this is very competitive to get in. A Santa Cruz UC, has a 5% acceptance rate, whereas a Harvard has a 30%. That's more money making for Harvard, charging $15,000 for 15 days. So it doesn't make sense. You would think, oh, I did a summer program at Harvard. It's not going to have too much weightage on your application. So identifying the right summer program is very important. Even to get to these competitive summer programs, you need to start building your CV 1 year in advance. To crack some of these programs. So build your CV to crack some of these programs. And once that gets cracked, that adds on to your CV and which will help you to crack that college, right? So look, time is the factor here. This is where college counseling comes in handy. This is where an expert comes in handy. You can all try it yourself, but what happens is the time is the constraint. You may think this activity would be helpful, but they may not, that's not even helpful for the college application. So you have wasted your time doing something. So a right guidance, a right direction is required where you exactly know how you are going to present your story, which are the activities which are going to be relevant, where not just for the college, but for your own learning. Do not build your CV to impress the college. You're going wrong. And that is the wrong way of doing it also. Remember, you're not building your profile to impress the college or get into the college. You're building your CV to build your own skill sets, which is going to be handy. Previously, at least when I graduated out of college, all we needed was a degree to get a job. Oh, I have an engineering degree in a good reputed university. Someone will hire me. They will teach us. They'll train us, prepare us for the corporate job. There was patience, 3-6 months of training, and then you get into the project and everything. Last few years, what has happened? They start expecting students to know things before entering the college. You should know, all the tools and all, because competition is increasing. Like previously, when someone used to play international cricket, they gave 2 years to even adjust to the international cricket. Today, if you don't play the first 2 games well, you're out, because so much talent is coming through IPL or domestic, right? There's someone else waiting in the wing who's already ready for the internationals. So this is what it is happening, right? So you don't get a chance to learn when you're in the job. They're expecting you to do that during college, and the colleges are expecting you to show that ability during your high school. The fact that you will be able to do that in college, how do they get an assurance? Okay, I've been doing it already from the past 4 years. There's a higher chance that I'll be able to get, that student is more likely to continue doing that during the college, which will eventually help him to get good jobs and whatever it is. So guys, you're building it for your own skill set. Start now, and then you can take this forward during college, which will prepare you, for the the corporate world or the business that you want to start. So don't look at building your CV to impress the college. I have never built a CV for a student to impress an ABC college. It is always to build your own skill set, your own learning, which will help you to do well in college, which later eventually will help you, in your life. So with that agenda, if you build your CV, nothing is waste. You're learning and, applying that knowledge in the real world. So colleges value, of course, some of these co-curriculars more than the others. If you have gone on to participate in some of those national, international competitions, maybe won something, finalist of something, that of course carries a lot of weightage. Doing competitive summer programs, it shows that, you utilized your summer very well. You are someone who doesn't waste time and, use the summer well, worked on a research paper with a professor, did say an online internship, did a good social project for a couple of years, which, you wanted to give back something to the community. So we need to identify which areas we are going to stick to. So that's why 9th and 10th is a good time to explore for you, try out things, dirty your hands. 11th grade onwards, you should be very specific. This is what it is. And, go heavy, very heavy on the CV part, where you want to hit the nail and say, I love physics, or I love math, or I love economics, or I love business management. And look, I've done this related to that. So, I'm very passionate about what I want to pursue. This is what universities are looking at, right? So what do we do? How do we help students with this? Look, I head the college counseling team myself at Quest. I own Quest for Success, where I have a monthly one-on-one interaction with the student, where we make a plan month by month with the student and say, look, this is the month that we are going to do this. This is the competition that I want you to focus on. this is the upcoming summer program that we would like to target, or this is an online internship opportunity that we will be able to help you secure, or under which professor are you going to do your research paper, which is the course that I want you to do, outside school level. So we come up with a plan. We tell, okay, this is what we are going to do. Of course, with both our consent, we zero in on this is what we are going. If I give you 8 options, you may pick 4 of them and say, this is the 4 I like. I want to do this. Let's go ahead and do that. So this is how, you build your plan month by month with the student, build the CV. I have students starting as early as grade 9. There are students who come as late as grade 12 as well. So depending on when you're coming, how much time I have with you, we would like to do the best for you balancing your acads. Remember, I am someone who's going to balance your academics. It's not a lot of counselors outside, they'll all talk about, CV is so important. This is only going to be the differentiator. That's wrong. That is that they are selling their, courses. I'm very neutral. We teach SAT, we teach AP, we do tutoring, we do counseling. I'm very neutral. ACADS comes first. Balance your ACADS, balancing your academics. Let's see how much we can push yourself to build a strong, profile. It should not be at the expense of academics, right? So plan out things with you, connect you to the right professor under whom you can do your research, connect you to the right people under whom you can do your passion project, identify which competitions to participate in advance, and you prepare 4-6 months for that. Get you some of the online internship opportunities, brainstorm with you on your community project idea, and help see who can help you execute that, which APs to take, when to prepare for SAT, which colleges to apply for when you're in grade 12, shortlist that, help you with your essays application. Of course, I have a team there's one member who helps with the essays. There's one member who helps you with filling your application. And I'm someone who will, strategize month by month what we are doing, right? Someone who's very clueless, wants to do a psychometric assessment to see which career options are fit. We have that option as well. But I use it only when I'm not able to figure out with the student. So this is how, we build. There's no right time to start. A lot of questions. When should we start? Start if you know you're applying to universities outside India. Look, in India, we don't say, because if you're preparing for JEE NEET, there is no point pushing that child to do all of this. We know the reality. You need to crack that exam and get entry into that college. And for cracking that exam itself will take 12-14 hours a day. So where is the time to even work on your skill? Hence, I don't push with that. You should also build your CV. You can't do that. But students who want to apply outside India, start building on this. Earlier you start, more the time we get to build on a strong application. I have a couple of students who started in grade 12 and still cracked UC Berkeley's. They will share their story, but that is not the right way to approach, right? Of course, they worked 16 hours a day for the last 10 months and, probably did double the work in 8 months than what someone would have done in 2 years. So, but that is not the right way to approach. Right way is to start early so that you get more time and you are relaxed and do it smoothly rather than taking the pressure, right? So essays are very important as part of your college application. Remember, there is no interview round in US, Singapore and all this is your academic grades, your activities that you have listed, and they read your essay to visualize who you are as a person. Sometimes these essays take 2-3 months for students to write. And we have an essay expert, Reena, who helps with them brainstorming the idea and, editing their essays before they submit. So this is the example of a common app essay prompt that, you have to write for the US university. There are 6. You have to pick one of them and write a 650-word essay, which goes to every single US university. How much time? Students write it for 2-3 months. So 12th grade, you need to work on your essays, starting from July, June, and, start parallelly working on your essays. So we have the essay expert who will help you with this. So in that essay, it's not like you're demonstrating, oh, I have done this achievement. That is already shared in your application. Through the essay, they want to know who you are as a person. So we want to show you a couple of essays that, our kids wrote who got into some of these top universities. So this essay was written by Sanjay, who made it to UChicago for economics. Look, this is just a para from that essay, right? Standing in a crumbling temple, I watched my father speak about restoring it not as a structure, but as a place that could shelter the homeless and feed those in need. In that moment, I understood that real impact is not about recognition, but about helping others. That lesson stayed with me in Rotary, where I worked to raise funds for Braille readers and hearing aids for visually impaired students. So he had mentioned in his activity section that he is a vice president of Rotary Club. He has raised 2 lakhs in funds and everything. through the essay, he's trying to demonstrate what inspired him to join Rotary. Why did he raise these funds? It's the learning from the father. So now, seeing a student hold a braille reader and say, now I don't have to wish for help, made me realize that service is not about numbers or praise. It's about changing someone's life in real and human way. So it has nothing to do with economics that he has applied for. Remember, the essay is not to, about the subject. You have given your activity section. You have told already the competitions you have done, the summer program you have done, research paper that you have published, that has gone in your application. Beyond that, they want to know you through that essay. So this is how you write, your essay, and you try to relate that essay to couple of your activities that you have listed in that. If you talk about your community project that you are doing through this essay, or someone talks about the passion project, depends. They want to link it. So coming up with this topic takes time, brainstorming, and then, perfecting it takes a lot of time. So it's just one essay. Remember, you have to write supplement essays for every college. UK has its own SOP that you need to, which has 3 questions. NUS has 5 questions. Takes time. So this is where we help you with. So Rehan, I think, has joined us. Rehan, are you there?
Yes.
Hi, Rehan. How are you?
Hello, sir. I'm good. What about you?
Yeah, so let me quickly introduce you. You can switch on your camera if you are in a position, or otherwise you can just speak. So Rehan is a student of Oberoi International School, Mumbai, and is an IB curriculum. So he's made it to astrophysics at UC Berkeley. He would like to share, Rehan, you have 5 minutes. You tell about your experience or how you cracked it. And this guy actually cracked UC Berkeley, I think, in what? He joined us in March last year, and November 30th is when the applications were due. So within 8-9 months, worked 14, 15, 16 hours a day for the last 8-9 months and cracked the best college, for physics, astrophysics in the world. Over to you, Rehan. 5 minutes. No, go ahead and speak whatever you want to. No one has prepared. I just called them very instantly. So yeah, Rehan, go ahead and share about your experience.
Thank you, sir. So, yeah, I think Quest for Success was really helpful, and Abhishek.
Rehan, no, don't praise us. You talk about your journey. How was
Yeah,
it?
so
How did you manage to crack? Yeah.
I think the first most important thing was after my first meeting with Abhishek, sir, like we did look at a few other counselors as well, but Abhishek sir was the only one who actually spoke to me about academics. So I think in 11th grade, my grades were slipping a bit. And Abhishek sir was the only one out of all the counselors we went to who said, leave your CV right now. First, we have to focus on your grades. Because grades are the entry point into the college. That's the benchmark that they set for you. And only after that, your CV is going to be reviewed. So I think that was one thing. He's very honest and he always pushes you to do well. He might not always tell you what you want to hear, but it's what you have to hear. I think that is something that did help me a lot. Because then after that, I started working on my grades more. I started working on my SAT and even AP. So I think that was something that did help me a lot. I think after I got my grades in place, so also helped me a lot with finding summer programs to do. So I think we applied to quite a few, and I got into UC Santa Cruz's science internship program, which for my course was extremely helpful. Uh, Through this program, I was able to work with a professor, Dr. Raja at UCSC, and we were able to make a discovery about astrophysics regarding the Sagittarius stream. Uh, I think after this, we went ahead and we published the research. We presented it at the American Astronomical Society, and it got published in the NASA database eventually. I think one more large part of my journey was Miss Rina, who helped with all the essays and applications that I worked on. I applied to, I think, around 28 colleges, and Miss Rina was able to help me with essays for every single one of them. Uh, even at uh, even late night or certain hours when people wouldn't be expected to probably pick up or respond, Miss Rina was always available and there to help us and help me especially. I think that it did help me a lot. I was able to get all of my essays done on time, even if I started extremely late. I did start my journey with Quest for Success late as well, but the journey was extremely fruitful because I was able to get into the top colleges of my choice. So I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Yeah. So look, the turning point for him was the summer program that he cracked. So it's the science internship program. You can Google about that. So the acceptance rate is like 3-4%. So when he joined, we had barely 2 weeks to figure out which program. The deadlines were approaching. We applied to 5 of them. And luckily, we cracked this, where 2 months he was in the US, working in a lab setup with this professor, Mr. Raja, on the astrophysics, and which ultimately got published in, the NASA journal as well. So how he got that, I feel it was about the YouTube channel that he was running, where he was teaching physics to high school students, teaching concepts on physics there. So he demonstrated that as part of his of his summer program application, the YouTube channel. And Rehan, you can talk about that. And, of course, his love for astrophysics, the books that he had read, or the courses that he had done, which got us this. After this, of course, I think you did international astronomy competition also. I think you did. What else did you do over the last 6-8 months?
Uh, yes. So I think a lot of the
You did
things,
some math Olympiads, couple of math
yes.
Olympiads. You did astrophysics competition, went for this summer course. Yeah. So I think something more also in the last 6 months.
Yes, I think a couple of courses that you recommended for Python and physics as well.
Correct. So yeah, in fact, his 11th grade marks were, I think, 34, if I'm not wrong, Rehan, out of 42. And
Yes,
finally, he was predicted a 43 on 45. So worked on his ACATs, worked on his SATs, did a solid summer program, did courses on Coursera, tried the astrophysics competition, did couple of math Olympiads, did all of this in the last 8-9 months, and beautifully rewarded by Berkeley. He even cracked UCL in UK for astrophysics, but now he's choosing to get into the UC Berkeley. So thanks, Rehan, for taking out time. He's in fact in his physics tuition, and he took out half an hour for us. Thank you so much, Rehan. Go ahead and prepare for your boards. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, thank you so much.
Thanks. So yeah, moving on with this. Right. So yeah, this was his essay that, Brihan, 1 second, just share my screen here. Yeah, so this is what he wrote. I had a habit of apologizing for every mistake instead of fixing it. My coach would stop me and say just one word again. During a match, after getting hit and feeling like quitting, I remembered that word. I stood up, continued, and finished the match even though I lost. So he talked about sports, in his essay. So yeah, these ideas take time to come through, and you need to do a lot of brainstorming with this. We have Anushka as well. So Anushka is heading to, so she has a couple of choices. She has NYU in Shanghai. She has USC, University of Southern California in US. So she's going on to pursue double major in economics and math. Anushka, are you there on the call?
Yeah, I'm here.
Right, Anushka, 5 minutes. You have something to share with the participants here.
Yeah.
Don't talk about us. Talk about your journey and how
Yeah.
that can help the future students.
Yeah, so I started around mid 11th, like in December, 2 years, 2025. And I was doing an Indian curriculum before, so I switched to A levels. And throughout this whole profile building process, I had to make sure that my grades didn't go down because already shifting from Indian to international curriculum was a hard shift. And then I didn't have any ECs in 10th grade or ninth grade, so I had to start in 11th, and I shifted schools as well, so there was just a lot of changes and it was pretty overwhelming, but I had to make sure that my grades didn't go down and I had to like do more ECs. I think what helped was there was like a plan for each month. So each month I was given recommendations, and as long as I did those, I think I was like set. Like because of the schedule, I was like able to manage everything. And then even with the essays, I think it took me really long to like finally find a topic, but writing it is not that hard. I think the hardest part is brainstorming, because there's this constant question you ask yourself, is that how is my experience different from the others? Like you want to find a unique experience about you that involves like a lot of introspection, and it's hard, like thinking about like finding a unique experience that's just unique to you. But that's where US essays differ from like UK essays. That's why UK essays, I'd say I didn't face that much difficulties writing, but then my US Common App essay, I took a while because I had to figure out myself and then I had to put it on paper. And then with extracurriculars, I did a bunch of community projects, social impact projects, and I was even recommended this 1M1B program where I went to UN Geneva to present my social impact project. And then I also went to IM Ranchi for a winter program. I'd say even with summer and winter programs, it's very important to like choose the ones that are selective. Like the IM Ranchi program that I went to had like a 4% acceptance rate. So I think that really added to my application. And then I also went to NUS for a summer program, and I haven't heard back from NUS yet. But then going there and living there for 10 days, like it gave me a sense of what I can expect from university. And it just helped me like build myself personally even for university. Yeah.
Right. So this is Anushka's essay, a four-liner from there. As a child, I was praised for being responsible, and I started trying to always meet others' expectations. Over time, I became so focused on pleasing others that I lost my own sense of joy. One day, while painting with children at a government school, I felt free and happy without needing anyone's approval. That moment changed me. I started focusing on balance, doing things I enjoy, and building something meaningful like my foundation. So just, of course, it's a huge essay. We just took 4 lines from there. So yeah, thanks, Anushka. Thank you so much. So before we invite Yash, I'll show you some of the case studies of students who last year, this year, who made it to these elite level colleges, what their CV looked like, overall. So you get a sense of if you're targeting those tier 1 colleges, how it should look like. So there's this boy, Sanjay. So this is the boy who wrote that, the Rotary Club essay from Malia Aditi School, Bangalore, who made it to UChicago for economics. So SAT score of 1520, grade 10th, were all 9 A stars in IGCSEs. 4 A's in his AS level. So look at school level stuff that he has done, president of MUN club. That is not the highlight. You could be president, but what you did is important. So he hosted 300 plus student conference in the school. 1 lakh rupee was raised. So that gets validated through the, counselor's letter of recommendation where they actually say this, the student has done this also. Founder of MUN outreach at school. Mentored 2,500 plus students, part of Rotary Treasurer. We raised 2 lakh funds for that, visually impaired students. TEDx finance at school. So this is what the school level stuff. Outside school, what did he do? He worked on a research paper with a IISc professor, game theory in aviation. That was the topic. NUS GRIP, same program that Anushka is talking about. He went for that, worked on a passion project, farmer safety innovation, 10-day there at NUS. Did a carbon credit project and, did 1 week of internship at this company, Guest ALT Network. So couple of research, 1 summer program, worked on a project, 1 internship. Now, what was X factor? He got selected with this SRCC fellowship, Sriram College of Commerce, where only 40 students that year were selected out of thousands of applicants. It's a fully funded program run by Sriram College of Commerce. So he was one of the 40 admits, that year. Did online courses on Harvard CS50, IBM, and what and some program. Did some of these competitions as well. Amog Aditya, Bishop Cotton, made it to Cornell, double major math and eco. He's a ISC student from India. Very good academics, SAT of 1500, did 8 APs, 8 APs he did. He was founder of a social project, No More Hungry Mouths, which he started during COVID. So the name says where they distributed food during the COVID, but the impact was huge. Research, he had 2 research papers. One was with UC Berkeley professor, one was with Harvard Learn with Leaders. There's a Harvard student agency that helps students with a research project. So his research, both the research projects that he worked were on mathematics and which were published in peer-reviewed journals. He did 3 summer programs. All 3 were very competitive to get in. He did a multivariable calculus course with Stanford during one of the summer. One of the summer he went to Wharton to do a finance and economics course, and one of the summer he did go to Yale for Yale Young Global Scholars. So all three very competitive. Lot of eco and math you see because he wanted to double major in math and economics. So his research paper was on math. His summer programs and everything were eco and math oriented. Worked on a very good community project. So these were the research papers that he wrote: advanced LDL decomposition in matrix optimization and extension of the Haas-Minkowski theorem. So these were the two research, 7 APs, some of the Olympiads, on math that he did: Asian Math Olympiad, Harvard MIT Math Tournament, and he got a Pradhan Mantri Bal Puraskar for that NGO of his, No More Hungry Mouths. So this got him a Cornell admit double major in math and eco. There's Shaurya, who's a boy from Surat, GD Goenka International School, SAT 1530. So he's gone to Vanderbilt for economics. Just to tell you, Vanderbilt is an Ivy Plus university. Last year, he was the only student from India who got the economics seat at Vanderbilt. Very tough to get in. So Amok was a lot about Olympiads and research paper and everything. What got Shaurya was his love for MUNs. So he has been doing MUNs for the last 7-8 years, and he did quite very well on that. I have not written here, but he got some Guinness World Book to organize the first sports MUN in India. So a lot of MUN related achievements he had. Of course, SAT 1530 APs. He did work on a research paper as well, did one internship. But the highlight of this application was the MUNs and a lot of awards that he had got. Even he's in the Limca or the Guinness Book of Records as well. So Arjun from Udaipur got Brown for astrophysics. Good grades, SAT 1570, head boy, founder of physics club at school, led school band as guitarist. This is not the whole CV. We've just taken some highlights. He went to UChicago for a research program there. So that was a fully funded program by Chicago. He got a full aid for that as well. So like Rehan, who got that UC Santa Cruz program, very selective. So he got into that. He worked with a research paper with the IISCR Tirupati professor. Led the founder of physics club at school. He was a finalist in international astronomy and astrophysics competition, guitar, grade 7, chess player. So this is the kind of CV, courses on astronomy, Python, CS50 online that he has done, which got him Brown admit for astrophysics. So Rehan has already spoken to you. That was his CV, predicted of 43 on 45. Head of school project, head of design in school magazine, TEDx youth at school. This was his YouTube channel, Atomized Education. So where he teaches, physics concepts. So he was the founder of that. He has his own YouTube channel. And so he was a research intern at UC Santa Cruz, where he did this SIP. And this is what he did there. Analyzed 180 RR Lyrae stars to study Milky Way halo structure, built astrophysics models and all. Of course, you need something X factor to get into a college like Berkeley or, an Ivy League. So member of New York Academy of Sciences. Of course, his community project that he had been doing for 3-4 years there. And some of the competitions that he had done: Philippines Math and Science Olympiad, silver medal, got into international astronomy, astrophysics competition, final round, top 5% globally. So these were the competitions and some of these courses that he had done, online. Anushka has spoken to you. This is her CV. With A level, she did 2 APs as well, Calc BC5. She got a SAT score of 1520. Was all A's in her subjects in economics, math, literature, and bio. Founder of Art Outreach Initiative, her project Ivara and Sahara. So a lot of NGO thing. He's talking about that 1M1B program where she empowered 40 plus transgender women, raised $500 and presented at the UN Geneva. So she went to the United States Nations in Geneva in November to present her project there. She did a research paper with Learn with Leaders, which got published. She did her IPQ in Cambridge, 5,000 word research on informal economy in Bangalore. And some of these internships, Farmint Private Limited Singapore, Civic Impact Fellowship. This is through our connects that we got her. And she also was selected with the SRCC Finance Fellowship. And IIM Bangalore Youth Udyami competition, she reached the finals. And she went to that IIM Ranchi thing that she was talking about for her winter program as well. So all of this she did in 1 year. Of course, worked 10, 12 hours a day in the last 1 year because she started, mid of 11th. and some of the competitions that she did, National Economics Olympiad ranked 28 and round 2 of International Economics Olympiad. So these are some of the competitions. She's been doing ballet for 4 years, contemporary dance for last 8 years. Right. Yash is with us. A state board student who made it to UC Berkeley. A lot of times we see, like state board. The reason he was in state board because was his father pushed him to IIT prep. Mid of 11th, he decided no IIT. I want to try, Singapore and US. And made it to Berkeley, made it to UIUC, made it to bunch of colleges, but picking Berkeley for data science and computer science. Yash will talk to you for 5 minutes, and then I can open up, the session for questions and answers. So over to you, Yash. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir. Wonderful opportunity today. Hello, everyone. I'm Yash Vardhan Agrawal from Hyderabad. I belong to the Telangana State Board, and I started my prep right during the 11th boards. So, as you can see, sir is presenting my profile. So, if you were to divide my profile into the layers, it would be academics. And then the second layer would be the exams like SAT, APs, IELTS, Olympiads, TMUA. So all the competitive exams in the second layer. In the first layer, it's the academics. And the third layer, it's all the activities. And then at the last, the essays to bind all of them together. So, for academics, I think I had a decent track since ninth. In 10th, in 10th, I was able to secure a top 0.1% certificate from the ICSE. And other than that, my SAT score was 1540 with an 800 in math, a 740 in English. And in total, I had given around 5 to 6 APs in 2025, and I'll be giving one in 2026. So in total, I had submitted around 7 APs. And along with that, I had a TMUA score of around 6. And I had 4 Olympiads with silver and bronze medals in them. And I was also given the opportunity to represent India in one of the Olympiads. So, yes, these were the these were the Olympiads. Like EMOXI happens to be the International Math Olympiad of Southeast Asia, Asia International Math Olympiad, FISO and all. And then there were then all the computer science activities that took place in my school in 10th. And then I think one standout part which I feel about my profile was the research. So there was a company called Algoverse in California, which helps us, write research papers. So I had done one research paper with them. It was a research on LLMs. The second one was a bank loan predictor, which was done under an IIT mentor. And then I had gone to the NUS internship program for 2 weeks in July. And there I think I had four kids, like 4 classmates, and we together co-founded a Faircast. It was a model that predicted flight fares. It wasn't very accurate, but it was able to, it was like we won the award for the best research project of the program. And then there was the base management research for ICSE. Then there was an NYU Stern project. So I had gone to the Doon School, and in the Doon School, there was this, it was a collaboration between NYU and Doon. So it was combining AI and like the tech to solve the environmental problems. So there I won the LOR from NYU professors. Under summer programs, it says NUS AIY and NYU Doon School. And then I had a lot of internships, not like 2 internships. One was like under AC, but I didn't report that one. And other part was the community impact in teaching. One was for under Tribes for Good. Tribes for Good happens to be a Mumbai-based organization that carries out, such such community activities, but it was a very long one. It was around a 2 to 3 month one. In that, I had taught STEM to the NGOs. Then there was Vikas Vishranti NGO, Kids for Kids. Kids for Kids was like a music fundraising one. YCC Cry, this one is a famous one. It was for youth advocacy, and then it was fundraising campaigns under Milap and Vikas Vishranti NGO. And yeah, in co-curriculars, I had grand piano, basketball, swimming, football, and all. So, um, I mean, all of these were there, but like to compile all of them, I required essays, and I think my essays weren't as fancy as the ones you saw before. Like they didn't have that story or that so I can't do like I don't have that ability to do drama and write all of that. My essays were pretty straightforward for UCs, and that's why I think the UCs. So one case with UCs is that you need pretty straightforward essays. You don't need those Ivy League essays in which you tell a story and you go on, describing everything. My essay was pretty straightforward, and that hopefully worked out. And yes, currently I hold admits from Berkeley, NYU, UIUC, and from Hong Kong as well. From Hong Kong, UK, and Ireland. I'll be deciding in the coming few weeks regarding this. And a big thank you to Abhishek sir. Abhishek sir was there like since the past 1 year. Very strict at times, but brilliant to have so well along the journey.
I saved you the IIT pressure, no? I was the one who convinced your dad, leave this IIT thing, let's do this.
I was doing both IIT and this, and then he convinced my dad that getting both is not possible, as you need 10 to 12 hours of effort in both of them. So yeah, so that's why I had to choose on one, and yeah, like I had to give my 100% effort towards this, and then he made me leave the IIT thing. But yeah, at the end it hopefully worked out. So it was a brilliant journey with QFS, and thanks to everyone. Thanks to Jayan sir with APs and SATs. And thanks to Reena ma'am for essays and all the team. It was a brilliant journey with you all. Thank you.
Thanks, Yash, for sharing this. So how he could do all of this in the last 1 year? Coming from state board, I don't think he has attended his school in grade 12. So the school was very cooperative, and, he just worked on his CV for the last 10 months because he joined in Jan, and, by November we had to apply and there was nothing in the CV. So the summer program, the APs, the SAT, the community project, the research paper, school school has taken a back seat. State board is simple to score. So he's just texted me. He's got a 99%, in his 12th board exams. Of course, he's done these APs in calc physics, and also state board math physics is not even a challenge. So yeah, all the best, Yash. Of course, you're going to Berkeley. There's no second thought. Right. So yeah, this is what we are. Thank you everyone for patiently listening to the session. Any questions, anyone on the CV part? And this is our direct contact. The number on the left is Jayant's number, my head of academics at Quest. The number on the right is my number, direct number. Any questions, anyone? We'll definitely take it. I think we have Yash and Anushka as well here. If you want to ask them, you want to ask us anything on the profile side. Any questions, anyone? Anything now? SAT, AP, TMUA profile. Any questions? Okay. Some of you maybe just little get worried. Okay, how do we build this CV now in 6, 8, 10 months or whatever time we have, 1.5 years? It happens. Look, you need to understand, I presented the best CVs of Quest as well. It's not like everyone has done so much, but where we are, how much time you have, let's try to do the best and try to secure the best, right? Those who are in 12th grade, you don't need to be disheartened. Oh, I am too late in the game. Nothing like that. I think these Yash, Anushka, they all started almost, 12th, end of 11th, or, mid of 11th or 12th beginning or something. So you still have time. You need to work hard. The ones who are in 9th, 10th, aram se you can build up, you have a lot of time. So we will be guiding you. We work with you, one-on-one, plan it out month by month for you. The Algoverse research that he was talking about, we helped him, to get into that program, or talk about the NUS program that went help. So we'll help you with, the direction part, but you need to put in the effort. Depending on what colleges you are targeting, how much effort you can put in, we'll be able to help you crack, some of these top universities. So with the counseling, I work directly with the students. We have a WhatsApp group that we maintain between student, parent, and my team. Any questions, you can always ping us. We have monthly calls with you where we make a plan month by month for you, and work on your CV. So this is what we do, help you with your ACADS, help you with your counseling and building your CV. Any questions, anyone, before we can wrap this up?
How can we have one-to-one session with you and understand how to build the profile for the kids
Done,
and
sir.
the
Just
fee
ping us
structure?
on one of these numbers. On the right is my direct number. Ping us on WhatsApp. We can schedule a call in the coming week. And, of course, I do a one-on-one session with you. We'll understand. I'll explain how we go about. We'll understand the child as well. And then, yeah, you can take it over from there. So please reach out to one of these numbers and we will schedule a one-on-one meeting. Any other questions, anyone? Right. So I think with anything, you can reach out to us for either SAT prep or EP prep or, the college counseling. Please reach out to us. See everything available on our website. Our results are there. We have not published the 2026 results. Students are yet to figure out which college they are going to pick. Everyone has multiple choices. So once they figure out, we'll put our 2026 acceptances also there. You can check our Insta page where we keep putting our, results and everything. So everything is on our website. Reach out to us directly if we can help you, in any way. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining, listening, so patiently. Thank you to Rihan, Anushka, and Yash, for their time. Thank you so much, guys. And looking forward to working with some of you. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely Sunday. Bye-bye.
Thank you.